We can't hear you, Mataji.
Can't hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्री राधा कृष्ण कदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त रामकान्त नमस्ते भक्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये भक्तकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री सभी कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 अष्टपदाय कृष्ण विष्णु कवि भगवती प्रिय श्री गिरिराज सन्नि सुभक्तवरदास बिहारी श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्य श्री गुरुदेव हरे कृष्ण। Okay, Mama, please read. I'm just starting to read.
Sure, Mataji. Sure. Hare Krishna, chapter 16, verse 1 to 3. Shri Bhagavanuvāca Abhayam Sattvasam Shuddhir Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitah Danam Damascha Yajñascha Svadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyamakrodhas Tyagah Shantir Apaishunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luptvam Mardavam Hrir Achapalam Tejah Kshamadriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter also, the devas or godly and the asuras, the ungodly or demons, were explained. Now, according to Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation. And such activities, known as Daivi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. Those who are situated in the transcendental nature make progress on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the modes of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. Either they will have to remain in this material world as human beings, or they will descend among the species of animals or even lower life forms. In this 16th chapter, the Lord explains both the transcendental nature and its attendant qualities, and the demonic nature and its qualities. He also explains the advantages and disadvantages of these qualities.
Okay, all right. So now we have to be very careful, very attentive. Because divine and demoniac qualities are described here. And very few divine qualities are described, and a lot of demoniac qualities. So a list is given here, 26 qualities of divinity, right? So now Prabhupada is going to elaborate on each and every quality that's given here. Read within one paragraph, all right?
Okay. Okay. Should I continue, Mataji?
Yeah.
The word abhijatasya in reference to one born of transcendental qualities or godly tendencies is very significant. To beget a child in a godly atmosphere is known in the Vedic scriptures as Garbhadhana Samskara. If the parents want a child in the godly qualities, they should follow the 10 principles recommended for the social life of the human being. In Bhagavad Gita, we have studied also before that sex life for begetting a good child is Krishna himself. Sex life is not condemned, provided the process is used in Krishna consciousness. Those who are in Krishna consciousness at least should not beget children like cats and dogs, but should beget them so that they may become Krishna conscious after birth. That should be the advantage of children born of a father and mother absorbed in Krishna consciousness.
So now produce good children. So how good children will be born is if we follow this Garbhadhan Samskar. Read, Shikala.
Thank you, Hare Krishna Mata. The social institution known as Varnashram Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions or castes, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualifications. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. The qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding so that he can get liberated from the material world.
Yeah. So we have to remember the history of this Bharat. So Bharat has been conquered, invaded by people who do not understand how the society is managed. So, see, it's like you have more of goodness. Basically, though the followers of Varnashram Dharma, they have a high degree of goodness in them, more of goodness. Have certain principles. So, and they are following, like it's from time immemorial, this Varnashram Dharma. It's from time immemorial. But then those who deviated from the system of Varnashram, they were pushed out from Bharat Khand, were pushed out, and they became more and more degraded. Remember, the entire planet is Bharat. And when we study Bhagavatam, we find that this system of Varnashram Dharma is applicable, it's in Bharatvarsh. This is where Varnashram Dharma is practiced, because this is the place where you graduate yourself and you go back home, back to Godhead. Bharatvarsh is not part of the hellish planet. Bharatvarsh is from where you can become liberated. But when, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, this meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex, and when all other qualities started to sprout in Kali Yuga, then they were pushed out. People who were not following those principles, these 4 legs of the bull, as we call them, those who were not ready to follow those 4 legs, they were pushed out. Right? That's why the war of Kurukshetra. So it was either they follow the rules of the 4 legs of Dharma, or they were just pushed out. All right. So now when they were pushed out, they became more and more degraded. All right. And then within Bharatvarsh itself, there started to be a lot of disturbance in the principles of Dharma itself. The outside forces could enter Bharatvarsh, and when they conquered what we call now Bharat, India, very easily they started to demolish the original system of Varnashram. All right. So here in this paragraph, Prabhupada is saying that this social institution known as Varnashram Dharma, the institution dividing society into 4 divisions of social life and 4 occupational divisions or castes, is not meant to divide human society according to birth. Such divisions are in terms of educational qualification. All right. So your education is to be a Brahmana, your education is to be a Kshatriya, your education is to be a Vaishya, and your education is to be a Shudra. All right. So meaning the Shudra is impossible to do the work of the Brahmana, or the Shudra is impossible to do the work of the Vaishya. The Vaishya is impossible to do the work of the Brahmana. Their education, their mindset is different. All right. So let's take this point here. Prabhupada is saying that such divisions are in terms of educational qualification. Just like I just heard, I don't know from where, this thing about, the Brahman thread. All right. The Brahman. So what was the Brahman thread? The Brahman thread was just, okay, now you're entering the Gurukul. Just like you have a uniform. All right. When you go to school now, you have to change your dress. You put on a uniform. So in the Vedic society, so that thread was simply that this is your education. All right. So meaning you have entered school. So, yeah, so the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, and the Vaishyas, usually they go to Gurukul, but not everybody go to live in the Gurukul. There were day school also, and the Kshatriya and the Shudras, usually they are not interested. They're not going to sit and learn Bhagavad Gita and all other Vedanta. They're not going to learn the art of administration, defending, or they're not interested in doing any type of business. They don't have the brain for it. But their skills, they have amazing skills. Super skills they have. The art and craft. So education is different. They are to keep the society in a state of peace and prosperity. Meaning that if you're a Brahmana, you want ghee, right? The Brahmana is not going to produce his own ghee, right? He will go to the farmers. So the farmers are so happy to produce their ghee and give to the Brahmana, right? So everybody is happy. The Kshatriya, he wants the sword. He's not going to produce his own sword, right? He will go to the artisans, right? Make the weapons, right? So everybody has their place. So they're happy. They are doing their own work. The qualities mentioned herein are explained as transcendental qualities meant for making a person progress in spiritual understanding, so that he can get liberated from the material world. So whether it's Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. So if the farmers, they're happy to take care of the cows and bring milk to be offered to Krishna, are they not happy? Right? If they're maintaining the farm to make Krishna happy, are they not progressing in spiritual life? Right? If the Shudras, they're tilling the earth, right? They're producing the crops, they're producing the flowers to be offered to the deities, are they not happy? What's the problem? So if they do their own work and they offer the fruits to Krishna, they can be elevated to a higher status. Yes, continue.
In the Varnashram institution, the sannyasi or the person in the renounced order of life is considered to be the head of the spiritual master of all the social status and orders. A Brahman is considered to be the spiritual master of the three other sections of a society, namely the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras. But a sannyasi who is on the top of the institution is considered to be the spiritual master of the Brahmanas also. For a sannyasi, the first qualification should be fearlessness, because a sannyasi has to be alone without any support or guarantee of support. He has simply to depend on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one thinks after I leave my connections, who will protect me? He should not accept the renounced order of life. One must be fully convinced that Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is in his localized aspect as Paramatma, is always within, that he is seeing everything and he always knows what one intends to do. One must thus have firm conviction that Krishna as Paramatma will take care of a soul surrendered to him. I shall never be alone. One should think, even if I live in the darkest region of a forest, I shall be accompanied by Krishna and he will give me all protection. That conviction is called abhayam, fearlessness. This state of mind is necessary for a person in the renounced order of life.
Okay. So this is sannyasi, okay? So that's why we don't have many sannyasis. Right? Sannyasi cannot make any arrangement. Right? Has to be fearless like Prabhupada. He just went on his own. Perfect example. Ashwini, are you able to read? Shall I read?
I think she's traveling, Mataji.
Oh, okay. All right, read.
Then he has to purify his existence. There are so many rules and regulations to be followed in the renounced order of life. Most important of all, a sannyasi is strictly forbidden to have any intimate relationship with a woman. He is even forbidden to talk with a woman in a secluded place. Lord Chaitanya was an ideal sannyasi, and when he was at Puri, his feminine devotees could not even come near to offer their respects. They were advised to bow down from a distant place. This is not a sign of hatred for women as a class, but it is a stricture imposed on the sannyasi not to have these close connections with women.
Yeah. So this is purification of existence. Huh? So it's purification of one's existence. So first quality was fearlessness. So the example is the sannyasi. Has to be fearless. Then purification of existence, meaning that he doesn't engage in sense gratification. Yeah, continue.
One has to follow the rules and regulations of a particular status of life in order to purify his existence. For a sannyasi, intimate relations with women and possession of wealth for sense gratification are strictly forbidden. The ideal sannyasi was Lord Chaitanya himself, and we can learn from his life that he was very strict in regards to women. Although he is considered to be the most liberal incarnation of Godhead, accepting the most fallen conditioned souls, he strictly followed the rules and regulations of the sannyasa order of life in connection with association with women. One of his personal associates, namely Chota Haridasa, was associated with Lord Chaitanya along with his other confidential personal associates. But somehow or other, this Chota Haridasa looked lustily on a young woman, and Lord Chaitanya was so strict that he at once rejected him from the society of his personal associates. Lord Chaitanya said, for a sannyasi or anyone who is aspiring to get out of the clutches of material nature and trying to elevate himself to a spiritual nature and go back home, back to Godhead, for him, looking toward material possessions and women for sense gratification, not even enjoying them, but just looking toward them with such a propensity, is so condemned that he had better commit suicide before experiencing such illicit desires. So, these are the processes for purification.
This is very heavy. Okay. Yeah, Shikala.
The next item is Gnan Yoga, Vyavasthiti, being engaged in the cultivation of knowledge. Sannyasi life is meant for distributing knowledge to the householders and others who have forgotten their real life and spiritual advancement. A sannyasi is supposed to beg from door to door for his livelihood. But this does not mean that he is a beggar. Humility is also one of the qualifications of a transcendentally situated person. And out of sheer humility, the sannyasi goes from door to door, not exactly for the purpose of begging, but to see the householders and awaken them to Krishna consciousness. This is the duty of a sannyasi. If he is actually advanced and so ordered by his spiritual master, he should preach Krishna consciousness with logic and understanding. And if one is not so advanced, he should not accept the renounced order of life. But even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi or one in the renounced order of life must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samsuddhi, purity, and gnan yoga, knowledge.
Okay, so now So the sannyasi, so he goes door to door. Why does he go door to door? Begging?
To give Krishna consciousness, to awake Krishna consciousness in householders.
Yes, and also
And
Humility.
purpose of the
to develop humility.
unity.
All right. So two things. So here Prabhupada say, even if one has accepted the renounced order of life without sufficient knowledge, he should engage himself fully in hearing from a bona fide spiritual master to cultivate knowledge. A sannyasi or one in the renounced order of life must be situated in fearlessness, sattva samshuddhi, purity, and jnana yoga. It should be, see, if you are a sannyasi and you're not able to explain the principle of Krishna consciousness to somebody, then what's the use? People will come to you expecting to give, you will get knowledge. And if you don't know, it's going to be very troublesome, right? Yes. Who's reading? Mala?
Yes, Mataji. The next item is charity. Charity is meant for the householders. The householders should earn a livelihood by an honorable means and spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Thus, a householder should give in charity to institutional societies that are engaged in that way. Charity should be given to the right receiver. There are different kinds of charity, as will be explained later on. Charity in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Charity in the mode of goodness is recommended by the scriptures. But charity in the modes of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness.
Now this is charity. So first section was about sannyasis. Now come about householders. So charity applies to householders. Sannyasis are begging charity. All right? They're begging charity. That's how they earn their livelihood. And they are giving knowledge in charity. Vidyadhan, right? Now, the householders, because the sannyasis are going to householders. So they are giving charity to maintain the sannyasis and also to sit down and listen about spiritual knowledge. So later we'll hear about this charity in the three gunas. So charity in the modes of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it's simply a waste of money. You give money to the wrong person, right? So there's no benefit. Yeah. Go on.
Then, as far as Dhamma, self-control, is concerned, it is not only meant for other orders of religious society, but is especially meant for the householder. Although he has a wife, a householder should not use his senses for sex life unnecessarily. There are restrictions for the householders, even in sex life, which should only be engaged in for the propagation of children. If he does not require children, he should not enjoy sex life with his wife. Modern society enjoys sex life with contraceptive methods or more abominable methods to avoid the responsibility of children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demoniac. If anyone, even if he is a householder, wants to make progress in spiritual life, he must control his sex life and should not beget a child without the purpose of serving Krishna. If he is able to beget children who will be in Krishna consciousness, one can produce hundreds of children. But without this capacity, one should not indulge only for sense pleasure.
This is very clear. So dam meaning self-control. Go on.
Sacrifice is another item to be performed by the householders because sacrifices require a large amount of money. Those in other orders of life, namely Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa, have no money. They live by begging. So, performance of different types of sacrifice is meant for the householders. They should perform Agnihotra sacrifices as enjoined in the Vedic literature, but such sacrifices at the present moment are very expensive, and it is not possible for any householder to perform them. The best sacrifice recommended in this age is Sankirtana Yajna. This Sankirtana Yajna, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the best and most inexpensive sacrifice. Everyone can adopt it and derive benefit. So these three items, namely charity, sense control, and performance of sacrifice, are meant for the householder.
Okay. So charity, sense control, and sacrifice. So, meaning that their wealth should be properly utilized. So now we say it's so simple, you just chant Hare Krishna, no expense. So how does it apply, sacrifice for the householders? Sacrifice means that I should sacrifice my wealth. So you just chant Hare Krishna, there's no sacrifice of money. How does it work?
Sacrifice of time instead of indulging in other sense gratification things.
Yeah, you're sacrificing your time and anything more. You should have Sankirtan Yajna in your house. If you're a householder, right? Meaning that regularly you should call people, chant Hare Krishna, and give prasadam. Right? So the sacrifice. Yes. Then Swadhyay, Vedic study. Now, first we have spoken about the sannyasi. Second, the grihastha, now the brahmachari. Brahmacharis should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage their mind in the study of Vedic literature for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is called Swadhyay. Now, tapas or austerity is specially meant for the retired life. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life. He must always remember that there are 4 divisions of life: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So after Grihastha, household life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in student life, 25 in householder life, 25 in retired life, and 25 in the renounced order of life. These are the regulations of the Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from household life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. That is tapasya, meaning that he should not engage in sense gratification, he should not eat too much, he should not talk too much, right? The entire Varnashram Dharma society is meant for tapasya, all right? Now, with a fall down of Varnashram Dharma, so we see how people are just engaging in sense gratification. I would say that when I first came to India, the mood, attitude of the people were very different. Very, very different. just traveling was like so different. Now the way they like enraged people when they travel, very intolerant, very demanding. No tapasya, they cannot tolerate. No patience, they're not able to do tapasya anymore. Without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everything will be nice, is recommended neither in the Vedic literature nor in Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactured by show-bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. So what they are doing, these show-bottle spiritualists, saying you do what you want, and then you sit and chant Om, and everything is okay. If there are restrictions, rules, and regulations, people will not become attractive. Therefore, those who are want followers in the name of religion, just to have a show only, don't restrict the lives of their students, nor their own lives. And that method is not approved by the Vedas. Right? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, who wants to read now? Shikala?
As far as the Brahmanical quality of simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life follow this principle, but every member, be he in the Brahmachari ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanaprastha ashram, or Sannyas ashram, one should be very simple and straightforward. Should I go? Should I read?
Yeah.
Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after the killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals, in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then his progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa.
Okay. Ahimsa meaning should not stop the progressive life of any living entity. So this, so why the animals should not be killed?
They are also going through their karmic cycle.
Yeah. And then if we kill them?
They come back in the same form.
Yeah. All right. Now you can explain to somebody why we don't kill the animal. Because they have to come, just like if somebody commits suicide, right? And then the person has to take birth and continue whatever is left. Plus punished beside completing, because see, killing the body doesn't mean that your karma is not still with you. The karma is still continuing with you. All right? So if you take birth again, you have to continue where you left. same principle that, the animal also, they have to continue to cut their life in between. Then they have to come back again to continue wherever they left. Right? If a human being has fallen in the body of a cow, right? If you kill the cow, then that person is not able to progress to come back to being a human being.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yeah.
Satyam. Satyam. This word means that one should not distort the truth for some personal interest. In Vedic literature, there are some difficult passages, but the meaning or the purpose should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master. That is the process for understanding the Vedas. Shruti means that one should hear from the authority. One should not construe some interpretation for his personal interest. There are so many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita that misinterpret the original text. The real import of the word should be presented, and that should be learned from a bona fide spiritual master.
Satyam. One should not distort the truth for some personal interest. See, this Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literature is so difficult to understand. Very, very difficult to understand, right? So if somebody is very clever, they can twist the meaning of the scripture and make people believe this is the truth. So therefore, Satyam is the great quality of the Brahmanas. Yeah, continue.
Akrodha means to check anger. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant. For once one becomes angry, his whole body becomes polluted. Anger is a product of the mode of passion and lust. So one who is transcendently situated should check himself from anger. Apaishunam means that one should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. Of course, to call a thief is not fault finding, but to call an honest person a thief is very much offensive for one who is making advancement in spiritual life. Three means that one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Achapalam, determination, means that one should not be agitated or frustrated in some attempt. There may be failure in some attempt, but one should not be sorry for that. He should make progress with patience and determination.
Akrodha. Everybody knows this one, right? Body becomes polluted when anger hits the body. Apaishunam. One should not find fault with others or correct them unnecessarily. One should not make your life miserable, right? If your only work is to find fault with others. Right. That one should be very modest and must not perform some act which is abominable. Determination, one should not be agitated or frustrated. This is, my God, one should not be agitated or frustrated in some attempt. Shikala.
The word Tejas used here is meant for the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas should always be very strong to be able to give protection to the weak. They should not pose themselves as non-violent. If violence is required, they must exhibit it. But a person who is able to curb down his enemy may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness.
Mhm.
He may excuse minor offenses.
Yes, so the Kshatriyas, they are meant to give protection to the weak. So when violence is required, they must execute it. But a person who is able to curb down his enemy may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness. He may excuse minor offenses. So, training is required. All right. Training is required. And you can learn this only if you go to Gurukul. Where you can learn all this. You have to live in Sangha, in the Gurukul, where you learn all this. How will you learn what is being taught here when once a week or once a month we are going to sit and read the book? How will you learn? So we have to be very, very determined and sincere, and be in the association of, the devotees. We should be bold enough, courageous enough to come forward and offer service. Because when you will offer service, that's when you will learn. This is when you'll be corrected. Fortunately, I would say 99.9% of our congregation are not interested. So therefore, they don't learn. So therefore, it remains theory, all this. So be among those 0.1% who want to learn. How am I supposed to explain this? A person able to curb down his enemy under certain conditions show forgiveness. He may excuse minor offenses. So now you ask, what is the meaning of minor offenses, right? How will you know? It's practical subject, right?
Should I read? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Saucham means cleanliness, not only in mind and body, but in one's dealings also. It is especially meant for the mercantile people who should not deal in the black market. Nat- Nati maniti, not expecting honor, applies to the Shudras, the worker class, which are considered, according to Vedic injunctions, to be the lowest of the four classes. They should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige or honor and should remain in their own status. It is the duty of the Shudras to offer respect to the higher class for the upkeep of the social order. All these
Yeah,
20.
so it seemed that this desire, to be honored is a symptom of Shudras, right? That's why all this selfie, right? Isn't it? Wherever you go, selfie. And you want to put your picture on Facebook, you want here and there, everywhere, right? So this is a symptom of Shudra. You want to be honored. Yeah. All these 26 qualifications mention are transcendental qualities. They should be cultivated according to different statuses of social and occupational order. The purport that even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. All right. So it's like it takes many lifetimes to learn all this, to develop this quality, because we are still here in this material world. It means that we haven't developed those qualities properly yet. So this is for our thought. Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna, Mataji, take care of your health.
This for, actually, I was thinking that if we could shift this time to like the other classes during the day, 4:30. Are you working? See,
No.
4:30 to 5:30,
That's
so,
fine.
So now why? But only when I have other classes, then I will shift the time. Because this is a fixed group.
Yeah, works for me.
All right. Ashwini, is it okay? We don't know.
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
Right.
Which day? But which day?
Same day, Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
day. 4:30 to 5:30. It's getting too late for me now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
but whenever I have other class, then I will take it in the evening. All
No
right.
problem. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hare
Take care,
Krishna.
Mataji. Take some steam.
Yeah.